Welcome to Catholic Conversations. This is your host, Adrian Fonseca, and today is a little bit of a different show. It's something that we actually have never done before. We've done a few different interesting kinds of shows, interviews, we've done debates, mostly just me talking into a void because nobody's listening. But today is going to be different. My friend made a brewing company. Well, actually, I guess he became my friend after he made a brewing company. So I guess it's the other way around. However, Trevor Alcorn is joining us, and good morning to you. I guess it's not morning anymore. I feel like everything I do, everything it just always feels like it's the morning. But good afternoon slash evening to you, Trevor.
Good afternoon, Adrian. Thanks for having me on. And I'm sure everything seems like it's morning. You start so early in the morning that morning lasts forever. So welcome to the
Yeah,
afternoon.
and I'm so used to it. Every time I have guests on, it's at 6:30 in the morning. So I just always saying good morning. I'll be meeting someone at night after church, and I'm just like, oh, good morning, and I'm like, it's not morning. Why do I just like and it's like drilled into my head? I always tell everybody good morning. So it's the everyone occupational hazard. Let's call it.
That's totally fine. It's a good thing to be a morning person.
Yeah, the sad thing is I'm not actually a morning person. And have been forced into becoming a morning person, kicking and screaming. But it is what it is. But there's so much news that's happened. We're gonna jump into. So what? Let me give you the context for everyone listening. The context here is Trevor. We were making jokes on Twitter and talking about starting a commercial contest because people were making videos about different things. Do you remember what the catalyst was for this?
Oh man, that's a fantastic question.
I can't even
I
remember anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was. Enoch had made like a real short reel for us,
Oh,
so we
that's what
could
it
have some
was. That's
beer, and then
right. That's
yeah,
right.
and then you had the idea for
And
it.
I was like, it would be fun if we just had a commercial contest. And everybody was like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I threw things together. I asked you, I was like, hey, do you think it's cool? And you're like, yeah, sure, go for it. So I started emailing everybody, contact everybody. A bunch of people signed up to get the email. And then we'll cover that at the end. And so we're going to cover the entries at the end of this episode and we'll watch the entries and comment on them. We'll go all Simon Cowell on it, and it'll be great. But before we do, let's just catch up a little bit. Let people, because most of my shows I never talk about myself, and so I don't think any of my listeners really know me, other than if they listen to the radio show Catholic Drive Time, they might know me a little bit more. But I rarely talk about my personal life. So let's talk about that a little bit. But let's start with you because, like I said, I don't like talking about myself. So let's start with you. You had a new addition to your family come into the world. I guess they've been in the world for 9 months already, but into the outside world, let's say. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Adrian. So, yeah, God blessed us with my wife Caitlin and I with another child. So, number five, girl number three.
Real quickly,
Uh,
Trevor, I've been told that your audio is too quiet. Can you
okay.
turn? Is there a way that you can turn it up?
Yeah. You know what? Let me just go ahead
Okay, you
and
go do that, and I will just go and talk about something else while you do that. So, real quickly, for anyone who wants to know more about Trevor, because I realized I really didn't do a very good job of introducing him. I'm very tired. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning. But if you go back, you can actually find an episode I did where I interviewed him. We talked about the history of brewing, and I told him we're going to have him back on in the future to talk about the philosophy of like the sin of drunkenness, but we never did. But so eventually we'll do that. But Trevor, are you good? Nope, not yet. So
and is it
good.
okay?
Is
Is
it
it better?
okay? So yeah, let me know. Trevor, continue your story, and I'll see if anybody says anything.
Okay. So sorry, I'll just get a little bit closer here. But if that doesn't work, I'll switch to
Just
different
you can just
speaker.
yell, just scream on
Yeah, I'll
top of
just
your lungs.
yell. Yeah. Hopefully,
Don't wake up, everyone.
it'll actually work. So yeah. So what I can say is, my wife and I were blessed with baby number five, and so the third baby, it's a third girl, sorry, and her name is Francesca Marguerite, and the first name being after Saint Francis Xavier Cabrini, and so yeah, just we always want to. of course, name all of our children after saints. At the very least, the first name, usually a middle name, is a family name, but we definitely want to make sure that that's meaningful. And so we find a lot of inspiration in Mother Cabrini, and did a lot of reading up on her. And she's actually, I know she's been all over these United States, but she actually died in Chicago. So, which of course I'm not too far away from Chicago, so there's a little bit of a local connection there. So, yeah, we're just yeah, I'm off work for just a little tiny bit, helping to take care of the house and the other children right now. So having a good time with them right now. But yeah, everyone's doing well. Wife is recovering well, and the baby's doing great. So been incredibly blessed by God.
And so I've been waiting on bated breath to see a Tridentine Brewing store come up, of some online store where people can buy your amazing pieces of artwork, which honestly, that's really what they are. They're pieces of art. And you also had those wood carvings that you sent me for Christmas. Those are absolutely amazing. They were on our Christmas tree. And so you have all these things which could definitely be sold at an online store. You said, I'll get that around, I don't know, maybe December. December's come and gone. What's the update on that?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought that up, Adrian. Thank you. So the store itself is something that we are. So I'm actively working with someone to set up a Shopify store, and so that is ongoing right now. We had originally projected a March 1st go live date. I don't want to commit on the show that it will launch on March 1st, but let me just say that I do anticipate it to launch this spring. And as you said, well, as soon as it launches, I'm sure that I'll just be called a grifter from then on. But to your point, though, Adrian, I think that with the actual artwork, there's been such a demand, right? I continually get questions around that, can you make it available? So that's really what this is there's just been so much demand for it. We decided, okay, let's go ahead, let's make it available. And so yeah, we've got a lot of interesting things sourced, lined up, including as you mentioned, just some woodworking for different saints. So someone within my wife's family owns a woodworking shop here in Illinois, and who's also a traditional Catholic, and so he makes some really beautiful pieces. And so we'll have that on the store as well. So we're really trying to, with the store, get as many things from made in the U.S., but also especially from Catholics. I mean, that's what we're trying to do with this, whether it's the artwork that we're working on or actually the materials, just trying to source as much as we can from fellow Catholics, because I think especially in these times we've got to support each other.
100%, I agree. And the other thing that I find interesting is the fact that you just give it away. Like you make so much of this stuff and you just give it away to people. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. That's just crazy. So my selfish reasons for wanting you to do this is that I want you to make money off of this. That way it becomes financially viable for you to actually start selling your beer. That's what I want. So selfishly, I want you to start selling the artwork and for it to do very well. So that way, then you have the funding you need to create a brewery that actually is able to be sold and, more importantly, purchased. So that's my selfish reasons.
And I appreciate the selfish reasons, Adrian. And I agree. I think I was talking with my father recently, and he said, at some point we gotta, the charity project can't go on forever. And even though I do appreciate, I do really actually enjoy giving it away to people, what we're able to produce. But yeah, at a certain point, to make it more viable, to reach more people, and as you said, to really take the beer aspect, because that obviously the artwork draws people in. That's what's drawing people in now, because they're not really having the beer. But we really want to be able to make the beer available. We're working on that separately as well, trying to find some avenues to make that beer available. But you're right. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to really get it out there in the marketplace and make it a viable thing. So yeah, absolutely. Anyone who would love to help out the brewery, and I get emails, correspondence from people. Hey, can I, if you've got some type of funding mechanism or whatever, I'll just give you money. And it's like, okay, well, here's an opportunity if people want to support us, support the brewery, and get something cool out of it. Then please check out the Tridentine Brewing shop when that goes live, and feel free to check out our social media. I'll be announcing it there once it's live, but you can access it via tridentinebrewing.com once it is live.
Yes, and the other thing I always find very funny, kind of amusing to me, is sometimes I'll see people online attack you and say, "Oh, Trevor is this no-name, faceless Twitter anon," and I'm like, his name is like on there. He has a website with all his information. He's appeared publicly online many times. I don't know if you can call him anonymous. And then the second thing is they'll be like, "Oh, you grifter, this, that, and the other." And it's like, I don't make any money off. I give it away for free. And even if I did make money off it, why would that be a bad thing? So I always find it very amusing when I see people attacking you for that reason. I just laugh. I'm like, these people, it doesn't make any sense. Why do this? So anyway, so a little update about my life. So many of you may know I was the producer for and notice the past tense clause right there. I was the producer of the Catholic Drive Time, a Catholic radio show produced by the Guadalupe Radio Network, broadcast across, I believe, 50 radio stations, if I'm not mistaken, because we were also on Station the Cross. And recently, I no longer am working as a producer of Catholic Drive Time. That's because I was promoted to the host of Catholic Drive Time. Joe McLean, our host, decided to take a position elsewhere. And so they offered me the position after he left. And so I've been doing that. I've been working on that for all of January. I officially took the job on the first Monday of February, which I guess not the first Monday of February. It was actually the 31st of January. So last week was my first week. This week is my second week. It has been very chaotic. Lots going on, juggling a lot of balls, trying to do multiple jobs, transition jobs, that kind of thing, new training for different things. I think it's been successful. I'll let people in the comment section who watch the show, I'll let them be the judge, whether or not it's been successful or not. But I think it's been okay. I think it's been enjoyable. I'm enjoying it. I'm not enjoying the long hours. I've been working 12 to 14 hours a day. But praise be to God for it. I'm glad to do it. And it's been a joy. So I'm too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed. And if grace was money, I'd be a millionaire. So thank you, Terry and Jesse, for those funny things.
I was gonna say you took a page right out of Terry and Jesse's book right there, but yeah, Adrian, congratulations again on. I mean, talk about a huge accomplishment, and I know you've done a fantastic job so far in your role prior to your promotion. So well done, and looking forward to continue listening to the great content that you produce over at Guadalupe Radio Network.
Thank you very much, Trevor. And Brendan Castle commented, he said, "Nobody told me about this contest. We posted on Twitter. I shared it on Twitter. I had a ton of people retweeting it. So, I mean, sorry, dude. Sorry you didn't hear about it. I tried to get it out as much as I could. I really, really pushed it hard the first few days. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait to see if anything comes of it. And so I just let it rest. I guess I could have pushed it further later on, but we all had other things going on in the world. So sorry, but maybe next time, maybe at a later date, whenever, maybe here's an idea. I'm just going to throw this out here. I'm not going to make any commitments, but maybe when Trevor launches the store, we could do it again and actually have make it a big thing. We can have more effort put into it, more marketing put into it, and make it a big thing as an announcement for the launching of the store, something like that. I think that might be fun. So I don't know. I'll let Trevor give a comment on that. No commitments though from anybody.
No commitments, but Brendan, if you want to be a partner in the grift, please. I mean, I'd love for you to make a commercial for us. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I think that would be great, and I think that it'd provide people with maybe even more material to use as well, Adrian. So I would definitely look forward to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's see. What time is it? It's 4:18. Let's stretch this out another. I said I was going to do this for 30 minutes. So let's stretch out this conversation for another few minutes. Did you hear before we get into it? So if you're listening, stay for another about 7 minutes or so, and then we'll play the video, and then we'll talk about the play the videos, and we'll talk about the winner and all that jazz. So stay tuned. We'll chat about for probably another 7 minutes or so, and we'll then transition into that. But just random thought. I hate the fact that every time I say the word transition, I now immediately think of LGBT ideology. Like every single time. If I like, oh, let's transition to this, and I'm like, now I feel like I need to use a different word. But no, you're not allowed to change my language. I can use whatever word I want, and it just like freaks me out, and I get upset. But side thought, I want to talk to you. Speaking of transition, talk to you about the Twitter story with Tegan. And that was absolutely insane seeing everybody react to this. And I made the comment I was saying on Twitter. This is why you do not simp. Men do not simp, not even once, because you never know. They might just be a bot or some guy who's totally trolling you. So you never simp, not even once. What do you think about that whole situation with Tegan?
Yeah, well, for those of you that aren't on Twitter, there's an account. It was at totally_Tegan, and I think it started maybe like a year and a half ago, and it was what appeared to be this college woman who suddenly was an atheist and came to the Catholic Church, and so and this account was asking all types of questions about the faith, and ended up amassing several thousand followers, and would post certain pictures. I think almost like now we find out is mostly catfish pictures of someone else's Instagram profile that was used for this account. But yeah, I always found the account personally, Adrian, a bit weird, and I almost commented on it a few times, but I didn't. Now this sounds like really like Monday morning quarterback now,
Yeah.
but I always got this feeling from the account. I was like, yeah, who does this in real life? I think the account's first tweet was, I was atheist, but now I'm thinking about the Catholic Church. And that was like the first tweet. And it was like hashtag Catholic Twitter, all these things. It was like a little bit weird to me. And I want to say, yeah, this doesn't really seem like maybe it's a real person. But I was like, oh, everyone's going to say, oh, stop it. This is someone new coming to the faith. Why are you, why are you saying this about this account? But, of course, we come to find out, I think the person finally got found out that someone tied the pictures back to this other sorority girl, I think, online, and so the account's gone now. The person who was behind it, whether it's a man or a woman, who knows, finally decided to blow up the account once it was found out, but really tricked a lot of people. I mean, even people were saying, and I never really talked. I think I commented on a few of this person's posts, but I never DM'd or anything. But other people had DM'd said, oh, it seemed like a really authentic person, and all the stories seemed to add up, but so all these facts came in. It was like, oh, there was all these inconsistencies, and so it really blew up. And to your point about simping, in case people don't really know, I mean, maybe you can give a background on what that is, but this account really attracted a lot of men who would make comments like, oh, on
Priest.
pictures, like, oh, you're even some priests. Yeah, it was all really cringe, about like, oh, you look so beautiful in that dress, and like all these like really things. You probably shouldn't put that out there like that. So I think once the account was really found out that, yeah, this is actually a fake account, that really kind of blew up and made a lot of people already look bad, who honestly, you kind of look bad anyway when you're making those type of comments. And she wasn't pretending, this account wasn't pretending to be married, and most of the people that were commenting weren't married that I know, even though I think that there was some people who shouldn't have been commenting in the way that they were. But yeah, I think a lot of people had egg on their face after this, and kind of playing along with this account, because this turned into a big account. And so it was pretty interesting to watch the fallout over the last few days of this account, blow up, implode, and then everyone, talk about how they had been hoodwinked the whole time.
Yeah, I very deliberately, it's so funny. I have made the deliberate decision years ago to never simp. And it's just a great thing that I did because I never interacted with this account because every time I saw her, there was always a ton of guys commenting on her stuff and things like that. And I was like, if I say anything at all,
Mm-hmm.
it can be categorized as simping. And for those who don't know, simping is like giving a woman attention that they don't deserve, or giving women attention just to try in the with the with the desire or hope that you receive attention back, or in a secular sense, receive sexual favors. But I'm and to charity to most of the guys who commented on it, I'm sure that most of the guys commenting on it were not trying to earn sexual favors from this fake account. Probably just wanting to get attention from a pretty girl is probably what happened, as my guess. But yeah, the comments about this is absolutely hilarious. People were like, sorry, but what actual woman would pick the username Totally Tegan? That was like iCarly grade. This one
Yeah.
is, yes, Venmo me. My @ is Totally Tegan. Catholicism, which don't tell any of him that I mentioned his tweets. He said, "Don't believe him. He ain't Tegan. I am. I got all the DMs from you." Not gonna read that. And racist to prove it. And it's because Seamus from Freedom Tunes said, "I'm actually a 22-year-old sorority girl who loves video games, far-right politics, and World War II history. I invented the Seamus persona entirely to make friends online because I knew it was the only way I could get men to pay attention to me." Oh man, it's so good. All the responses to this is just cracking me up, and I'm so glad that I was not involved in that at all. Praise be to God, because it is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. Angela is in the chat. She said, "I'm pretty sure I muted her." Yep, I didn't mute her. I tried not to mute people or block people in general, but I would just keep scrolling. Every time I saw her post, I just ignore it and keep going. Brendan Castle said, "Brewery win." Well, it's not a brewery. I hate that word. I can never say it. It's not a brewery that you can go to at the moment, in the sense that you can't buy things. If you hit up Trevor, I'm sure he'd be happy to show you his private brewery. He can't sell anything at the moment, but I'll let Trevor comment on that.
Yeah, so the brewery right now is it's a home brewery, which means by law, by federal law and by state law, we can brew for, personal consumption, or, for friends, things like that. But we can't sell anything. And so right now we still have the home brewery in the house. It wasn't my house. Now it's at my parents' house in their basement. Very nice for a home brewery, I will say. But we're looking at exploring ways to make it go commercial, looking at other existing commercial breweries to maybe partner with to get it off the ground, to really test the waters and see, could this really work commercially? Are people actually interested in it, or are they just like the labels? So they're
Right.
actually interested in the
Right.
beer part. So that's something that we're looking into. And so until we get to the point, if we get to the point of actually having our own commercial brewery, our own space where we, make it on site, and could sell from there, we're not going to be able to have, formal, public tours. We've had friends over to the brewery and they've seen it, but of course, once we get to a commercial state, then that would be fantastic. I would love to have, those who listening, come on over to the brewery. I'm sure we'll have maybe formal brewery time, formal tour times of the brewery. So we would love to have you over at that time.
Yeah, so make sure you're following him on Twitter, and you'll be able to see updates, and also just follow me. I'll definitely be announcing it when those things happen. But yeah, the going back to the Tegan thing, I think the lesson here, to not dwell too much on the actual event itself and making fun of people, as much as fun as that is, the lesson here is, number one, men don't simp. Two, the rise of fake accounts. We've always had catfishing. We've always had these kind of things where people like pretend to be a foreign prince begging people for money. These kind of things have always happened, but now in the 21st century, it's gotten so good, and people have become really good at it. They're good at imitating people. They're good at curating photos and all these different things. We need to be like aware of this, and we saw the whole thing with the feds and the Catholics, and so. I hate to say this, but we should really be skeptical of people we interact with. Unless I know somebody in real life, I really don't give them much credence in general. If I've talked to someone in real life, like even now, Trevor and I have met in person. So I know Trevor is a real person. But if I had not, and I've only ever met him through Zoom, I would be 90% sure he's real. But with the rise of AI, who knows? Because we've seen these like that poor woman was a Twitch streamer, I think, and they took her face and put it onto pornographic materials, and she was just bawling her eyes out whenever she found out about it, and people were making fun of her for that. And I'm like, what would you do if someone took your likeness and desecrated? You have a right to your good name. And this is happening to people, and the woman who is actually whoever Tegan was, her identity was being stolen. Obviously, well, at least it was stolen and being pretended to be a traditional Catholic. But still, same thing. Your identity is being stolen. All these things, and then it's going to get worse because they're going to be able to just invent people out of whole cloth, and you're not going to be able to find out who the original person was because there is no original person. So that's scary to me. Let's be more skeptical. Let's be very prudent in how we talk. And online, let's perhaps talk online as if we were talking to people in real life. Let's treat online world as if it's real life and not act different online just because you have a little bit of anonymity. Trevor, I'll let you have the last word, and then we'll transition to the actual contest.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in regards to online conduct in general that, whatever interactions that you have with people, that, I mean, you should interact with people as if you wouldn't mind if it was printed in the paper. I mean, sometimes I don't live up to that. But I mean, generally, that's what I try to think of it as, even if it's DMs or whatever. Like, if this was published and people knew what I was saying, would I be okay with it? But to your point as well, Adrian, about the AIs and everything. Yeah, I mean, Tegan, as far as I know, someone just snipped pictures, Tegan in air quotes or scare quotes. Someone took pictures of this other sorority girl, and that's all that it was. I don't think that they used AI. So when we talk about AI in the future, and feds looking to, infiltrate certain communities and whatnot, you can bet that they're going to be able to create people out of whole cloth with just a few images. They'll be able to create videos of that person, so you'll think that it's a real person. So yeah, just be careful out there. That's all. Not saying anyone's doing anything illegal, of course, but it's just good to be careful with whoever you're actually interacting with, and just to, stay at arm's length so that you're, don't end up with egg on your own face at some point.
Yeah, here's the woman who is actually Tegan, at least allegedly. Who knows, right? Let's see. This is the woman. A little immodest in the dress. So let me scroll down. Yikes. Okay, let's move on. Totally, Tegan was impersonating me. I have no idea who that is. Really disturbing of her, and her actions are quite pathetic to keep it going on for so long. So there you go, folks. Yikes. So anyway, that will finish that point. And so let's transition over to the actual video itself. I'm going to try to play this. I don't know how successful this will end up being for everybody watching. I am fairly certain will work out, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So if you're watching live, let me know if you can hear it, and we will take care of this. So let me switch screens over to the Zoom, and let's see, will this work? Will it not work? Let's see.
I've been known to enjoy a good drink from time to time.
Okay, we are going to pause that, and we're going to go back here. That did not work. Let's see. See, this is why you test things ahead of time, and this is live radio, folks.
I've been known to enjoy a good drink
Nope.
from time to time.
Still no. Okay. Let's try a different tactic. Let's go here. Share video. Doctor of the church. There. And is it showing? It is not showing. Here we go. Got it. I got it. Ta-da! I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Okay, let's see. Now, let me go back so I can hit play.
I've been known to enjoy a good drink from time to time. And when I'm not drinking bourbon, I'm probably wishing that I had a good beer. I'm convinced that St. Thomas Aquinas only recommended a glass of wine with a bath because he'd never had a life is worth living Irish ale. In any case, Tridentine has not made a beer yet honoring the great doctor, and he's a humble doctor, so I'm sure he's not holding any grudges. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same about myself. So, Tridentine, however you want to say it, Brewing, I just want you to know that I'm not a saint. In fact, I've heard women shouldn't even be doctors of the church. So, I'll be waiting ever so impatiently for you to start selling your beer in store for us peasants to buy.
Bravo,
And,
Angela.
I
that was awesome.
I have to say, Angela, in all honesty, I'm just being 100% honest. That was the absolute worst video we received. It's also the best one we received because it's the only one we received. Yeah, we tried to get people to submit, and I was going to submit one, but then I got tied up doing the whole job changed and everything, and so I was like, oh, I really don't have time. Been working 12, 14 hours a day, and then on the weekends I was sleeping until like noon every day on Saturday, and then Sunday I don't do anything. I don't work or I don't do anything, but. So that's how that worked out for me. But everybody was like, yeah, I want to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to participate. Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. And then nothing. Nada. So, Angela, in all honesty, though, it was really good. I thought it was awesome. I very much enjoyed it. It was really witty. I've been told, and I may or may not have said that women are not funny, but I did, in fact, chuckle.
I did really chuckle, too, Adrian. It was really good. By Angela, I'm sure that Angela is 90% real too. Like you said, I haven't met Angela in person, but no, Angela's 100% real. Yeah, I really
AI generated Angela.
AI generated Angela. That was fantastic, Angela. Especially starting out with a video, contest rules where we had basically given you no material for the most part. So to think, including the actual beer or anything. So, please go ahead and promote us without any beer, without it being able to get it, being able to, much else.
It was so clever.
It was very clever.
I was watching it because I saw this ahead of time. This is the first time Trevor's seeing it, but I've seen it already. I was laughing my head off when I was watching because I was like, this is so clever. I would never have thought to try to make an ad about the fact that you can't buy it. I thought that was so funny. That is so funny.
It was really good. And I can tell you, Angela, and as a former Dominican, Adrian, you'll appreciate this, that the St. Thomas Aquinas beer is on the docket. I think that we are going to get to it this year. So hopefully St. Thomas, he's a humble man, was a humble man, as you said, or is still in heaven. But we will be getting to him at some point here. So I look forward to that. But I also appreciate Angela's love of bourbon, because I also love a good glass of bourbon as well myself. That's usually what I would be going for if I wasn't having a good cold Tridentine beer. So hopefully, Angela, we can fix that problem one of these days, and we can make sure that there is an endless supply of Tridentine beer up in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I would be so down for a Thomas beer. And let me humbly give that this name, the Angelic Warfare beer.
Hey, there we go.
Are you familiar with the Angelic Warfare Confraternity?
Mm-mm.
So the Angelic Warfare Confraternity was a confraternity created by the Dominicans in honor of St. Thomas Aquinas, because St. Thomas had an angelic purity, and so he was girded and is around his waist with a girdle by the angels, and that girdle has been passed down through tradition, so it exists. You can go see it today, and it became a relic. And so those who were struggling with the sin of lust or impurity, they would go to it, and after touching and praying to it, many times they were cured of impurity. And so it is a very, very unknown tradition that needs to be resurrected in the 21st century. It's so necessary today. And St. Thomas, a little known fact, he is the patron saint of purity and of chastity. That's not very well known. And so the Angelic Warfare Confraternity was created in honor of St. Thomas. He's the patron for that confraternity. And I highly recommend, if you are struggling with the sin of purity, or you just want to have another devotion to St. Thomas, think about enrolling in the confraternity of St. Thomas Aquinas, the Angelic Warfare Confraternity. And angelic warfare because the angels are all pure. They have the most pure hearts. And what does our Lord say in the Beatitudes? Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. And that is why St. Thomas was so wise, because he could see God because of his angelic purity. There you go.
Sounds like a beautiful name for a beer, Adrian. And what better? It sounds like it's a confraternity that we could certainly use today, since that's sins against the sixth and ninth commandment are absolutely saturating society, and so that sounds like a great devotion to have to him and to promote. And who knows? Maybe that'll be the name of the beer. Haven't fully decided on the name yet, so
yeah,
you'll have to be surprised.
Don't feel obligated to take the name. Just a suggestion. If you decide to take it, no need. I won't ask for royalties. It's all yours. Just throwing that out there. I think it'll be a really cool name. But there's a lot of St. Thomas has so many titles that you could easily have like 50 different beers all named after St. Thomas and just use various titles. The common doctor, or the angelic doctor, the universal doctor. It has like a billion different things that you could use going that direction. But yeah, St. Thomas, the Angelic Warfare Confraternity, definitely a beautiful thing, beautiful devotion, very not well known. And it's really awesome. They have you would gird yourself actually as part of the devotion. When you join the confraternity, you wear a string around your waist that you wear for the rest of your life. It's pretty intense, but it's there's debate. Some people would say, well, you can take it off in certain circumstances, and others will say, well, you can wear a medal for the angelic warfare instead. So there's different things like that. But I highly recommend, if you struggle with purity, and even if you don't struggle with purity, if you just want to do it, go check it out. Angelic Warfare Confraternity. Just Google it. It should pop up. Then you can join, and you just get to find a Dominican priest. And if you can't find a Dominican priest, there's actually ways to have your local pastor get permission to enroll you on behalf of the Dominicans. So fun facts for you today. Random factoid. So thank you, Angela, for sparking that discussion. But Angela, if you want to hop on real quick, we're going to close out in about a couple seconds. You can just call in right now, 877-757-9424, and then we can have you on real quick. 877-757-9424. If you call in, I can have you on by phone real quick, and we can chat with you for just a moment, and we can get your take and have you explain the situation, how you came up with the idea, and that sort of thing. So if you want to call in, 877-757-9424. Just dial that on your phone, and you should pop right up, and I can tie you in, and we can chat for just a couple minutes. I told Trevor we would be off by 5. And also, I want to go home, too, because I haven't slept, so...
It's practically midnight for Adrian, when he said it's always morning. Yeah, I mean, I think you get up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, so it's a long morning.
All right, so joining us right now is Angela Erickson. Good morning to you, or I just said it again. I did it again. Good afternoon, good evening, good 4:42 p.m., Angela.
Hey, thanks for letting me call into your show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Praise be to God. I'm glad you're here. Tell us about how you came up with this idea. What was the process like? How long did it take you? Tell us about it.
So the concept, I guess, for it came to me randomly one night. Just I had kind of forgotten about the contest, and then decided a week or two before the first due date was, so to speak. I sort of just wrote out this outline for what I wanted, frame by frame, and I think I just wanted to make fun of. I wanted to make fun of Tridentine, and yeah, it's a little bit harder when you don't have a beer to use to promote their beer or anything. And so, yeah, I just figured I'd kind of make fun of that because there was no other choice in my mind. So, and then, yeah, the rest of it just sort of came in the creative process. I don't know.
And then why Aquinas beer?
Well, I thought of that because, St. Thomas Aquinas has said that one of the best ways to relax, especially if you're experiencing sorrow, is to take a bath and have a glass of wine. And I sort of thought, well, they don't have a St. Thomas Aquinas beer, and he has talked about alcohol, so let's talk about why people might drink when they're sorrowful. And that's why I sort of tied in the name of their beer, Life is Worth Living Ale for Venerable Fulton Sheen. I don't know. I figured everyone loves St. Thomas right now. So many of us would say we have a Thomistic view of the world right now. So I just figured that would fit well.
And Trevor, you have any questions? I had another question, but I'll let you go in, Trevor.
No, that's really, really clever, Angela. And I'm glad that you decided to pull the trigger and do it a little bit before the first deadline, or else we wouldn't have you having the show right now. So thank you again for putting that thought in. And I know
I cannot hear him at all.
That's okay. That's okay. Trevor is you know what? I know what it is. It's because of the way our system's set up. I forgot. You can't hear people who are coming in by Zoom. That's why you can't hear. So, Trevor, sorry, you're not going to be able to talk to her.
That's all right.
But Angela, my question is, tell me about. I guess not really a question. I'm telling you. Tell me about the show you're doing with Meaning of Catholic. Plug your show for people who are listening.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so I have I've recently joined the Meaning of Catholic team as a contributor, and I'm doing a show right now called The Ascent, where we talk about kind of current issues in the church that are somewhat controversial, but trying to offer a variety of perspectives there in a way that sort of looks at the bigger picture of Catholicism, and isn't so much about the finger pointing, but talks about the different perspectives that people can legitimately have under this umbrella of the Catholic Church and the magisterium. So actually, Jeremiah Bannister has agreed to be my longstanding co-host on the show, which is nice because I just feel like he has such a great breadth and depth of so many, of knowledge on so many different issues. So he's going to be a great addition to the show. I'm really excited about it.
It's funny. I really don't know Mr. Bannister at all, but I was looking because I was doing a show on Francis de Sales, so I was doing some research. I was reading Catholic controversies, and when I Googled it, his video popped up from 2 years ago where he did a video on it, and I turned it on, and I am just absolutely floored by his presentation because I'm not really I don't like rock music at all. I don't like that kind of thing, those kind of things at all. And then the music starts and it's blaring music, and he's rapping almost like spoken word, and he's going in, and he's high energy, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? What am I watching? What is going on here?
Yes, and I think that will be an area in which we kind of balance each other out too, because you're right. He is very high energy. He's the guy drinking coffee through a straw all day, and I am definitely not. So, he's just always great to talk to. I'm very excited. It's going to be great.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Angela, for calling in. And, I'll have to have you on my show to talk about, I don't know, something that you're covering in your show sometime and just get you in to chat. I mean, my show's called Catholic Conversations, but I rarely have conversations. It's usually just me monologuing for an hour and a half. So it'll be good to have people on. It's called Catholic Conversations, for those who don't know. At the very beginning, when I first started, I started with my friend Max, who abandoned me to become a friar in California. He joined the St. Michael's Abbey, the Norbertine. So now he's Frater Garion. So pray for Frater Garion. And so he abandoned me. So it became a one-man show, and I just never changed the name. So it's just been Catholic Conversations, me talking to myself.
It's okay. So I talk to myself sometimes too. So it's fine. But yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. I'd love to come on the show sometime.
All righty. Well, God bless you, Angela. God love you. Have a good day or good evening, good night. I don't know. What time zone are you on? I don't even know where you are. But have a good
Central.
night. Okay. That's
God
good.
bless.
So you're same time. God bless you. All right. Sorry about that. I forgot, Trevor, that you can't hear or she can't hear you because we're on the way that our system works for the radio, because I'm using our radio studio for doing this. The radio studio cannot hear the Zoom computer because they're connected, but only in one direction. So you can hear her, but she can't hear you.
That's right. Yes, I could hear her. So I'm glad it wasn't the microphone again. I'm glad that, I was still speaking okay, but hopefully everyone else can hear me on YouTube or whatever. Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad to hear the backstory, everything that Angela did. And, she did a fantastic job. And we did say at the beginning when we launched the competition that I would be giving something to Angela. So I've already given some swag to Angela. So I'll be, in the past. So I will be reaching out to Angela and we'll be, setting her up and, giving her something as an award for winning the competition. So,
Awesome.
really, we'll look forward to that.
All righty. Well, that'll conclude the show. And God bless you. God love you. If everybody's watching, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below, all those things. Share this with someone you think might be interested. And normally, this is not what my normal shows are like. Usually, it's talking theology, philosophy. My last show was actually on Seventh-day Adventism. I did a 2-part show on the first part on just general Seventh-day Adventist positions. The second show on specifically why do Catholics worship on Sunday rather than Saturday. So that was what we did there. And I might do a show on the soul next, because the Seventh-day Adventists have a really strange theology of the soul that I really am not familiar with. So I got to do some more research on it. And I might invite my old spiritual director, Father Raphael Mary, on and have him on, because he's an expert on the soul. He's a professor at the University of St. Thomas. So it would be an excellent person to have on to talk about that. But yeah, so that'll conclude our show. And Trevor, would you like to join me for an Ave?
Yeah, as long as you say it all the way through with me, sure.
Okay.
Don't leave me hanging again.
Okay, I'll say it again. That's why I wanted to ask first, because I was like, I don't want to throw you under the bus. I had a friend of mine recently too, after you, where I had him and he was like, while you were looking up the Ave, I was like scrambling. I was like, oh, I don't remember. And then he was able to get it. And I was like, ooh, okay, sorry. Don't want to make fun of or embarrass anybody. So, but
I'll say it silently with you. I'll let you go ahead and I'll
Okay.
say it silently. So I won't embarrass myself. I'm already embarrassing myself saying this, but I don't want to doubly embarrass myself.
So I'm taking
mumbling
your
it.
trad card, sir. You're not allowed to identify as a trad anymore. And we're striking your name, Tridentine Brewing. You're not allowed to say that anymore. It's just, you're not allowed. If you can't say the Ave, it's just banned. Sorry.
The Twitter handle says I'm a restorationist. So go ahead, take the
That's
trad
true.
card, Adrian.
That's true. You are a restorationist, not a traditionalist, which is
That's
why you
right.
don't know Latin.
Yeah.
All right. Oremus. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Our Lady of Fatima.
Pray for us.
Our Lady of Mount Carmel.
Pray for us.
St. Thomas Aquinas.
Pray for us.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Thank you very much, Trevor. God bless you. God love you. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Adrian.